What's going on, guys? Backing in with another video today, and this is pretty exciting for me because I've been on Android for about a week now. As promised, I have an update video last Friday. If you guys don't know, I'm starting an Android challenge video where I'm using Android for 30 days because I've been on iOS and using iPhones for about 3 years now, and I really wanted to test out the other side of the ecosystem. So I've been using it for a week now, like I said, and I'm just going to give you a couple things I've noticed that I really liked, and then at the end I'll give my negatives. But I can tell you that Android is very interesting in a very, very good way. Like, I have some very good things to say about it, and some things that I didn't think I would ever say. So we're going to go over here to the desk and compare the two, and let's get it started. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about that I really like is actually the build quality. Now, I know this doesn't have to do with Android or anything, but the iPhone here has the sides are curved, right? They're kind of like rounded out, whereas the Nexus here, it has very flat sides. And although it's a very, very big phone, it does feel like, it feels really good in the hand. It does feel, it doesn't really feel too slippery with this D brand skin on the back, but I really do like the build quality of this. Now, I like the flat sides. I'm like, the number one thing I like about this, the hardware, is having the Touch ID thing, as they call it, Nexus imprint, but having it on the back is just, it's so useful. It's really easy. Like, as soon as you put your phone in your pocket and you pull it out, you can just have it ready as soon as it's out of your pocket. So the next thing I want to talk about build quality is the screen. Now, this 2K AMOLED screen from Samsung, so it's pretty much like the same screen you're getting on like a Galaxy S7 and Note 5, but on those phones the screen gets a little bit brighter, but I've noticed this is plenty brightness. I have it on like 100% right now. Usually I only keep it down like below half, and then usually that's fine for me, but I really love the AMOLED. The colors really pop. The blacks are very deep. The whites are very vibrant. As all colors around are just very, very nice. So now the next thing I want to do is talk about the performance of the phone, and I can tell you I have not found any lag in this phone whatsoever. It's super speedy and responsive. Now, I know that does have to do with Android and software, but it does also have to do with hardware, like, you know, the processing power and just the internal specs of the phone. But I can just tell you that this phone is really, really fast. I've had a very good experience using this phone so far. I really love the material look of apps and stuff like that. So if you just, like, you know, you go in an app, you can, like I say, like this YouTube Creator Studio, and you always have like the sidebar and stuff like that there. And I just really love the animations too. The animations are so fast. Like, this is one of the things I like over iOS, because if you use this and just say you go into like Safari, look how like slow those animations are compared to this right here. I mean, it's insane. So I'll leave the two ones down here like this. Just look how fast the animation is on here. And then when you go into, let's say, that or Instagram, it's still smooth, but it's not as fast and responsive as on my Nexus 6P here. So I'd say the number one thing I like on my Android phone here, like the number one, and I think everyone sees this coming, it's the customization. So everyone knows on iPhones you have, you know, your app. Basically, this is your app drawer, and that's all you have. And the only customization you have is moving around the apps. But you can't even put them, like, say if I wanted to put this app over here, you know, it's not gonna do anything. You can't really do anything with it. But on Android, you can move anything anywhere you'd like. You can add anything to the screen that you like, and you can have custom launchers and icon packs. I've been messing around with icon packs a couple of times, but I really just like the stock Google Now launcher look. Alright guys, so now I want to talk about the negatives I've seen by using Android. Now, I know, like, I'm not trying to start any hate like Android sucks or anything, because no matter what operating system you use, everyone has its negatives. And I would even say the same thing for iOS, because there's plenty of negatives that you can point out on iOS that I would be gladly to do in a future video if you guys would like that. So if you would, just leave a comment down below. So now, getting into the negatives. So the biggest negative of an Android phone, I would tell you it's probably battery life. Now I know Android phones, some of these phones pack huge batteries. Now the Nexus 6P has a 3400 milliamp battery, as where my iPhone only has like a 3000 or 3100 almost. So how's that different? It's mainly the optimization for the operating system, because iOS, they do a very good battery optimization where you can lay your phone down and not use it and like come back 12 hours later and you only lost like 2%. It's ridiculous. Now Android 6.0 Marshmallow introduced the usage of doze, but it really only works when your phone is facing down. Like, so if it's in your pocket or facing up, it's really not working. Now I've noticed that it does work pretty good when it is working, but other times it's like it's just using a lot of battery that it shouldn't. And screen on time is another thing. I would say it's decent. I mean, it's probably as good as any other Android phone, if not, you know, better than most Android phones. But I just find that my battery lasts longer while I'm using it with an iPhone. But it's still decent, so don't get me wrong there, it's still pretty good. Basically the conclusion is that I'm having a blast using Android. I'm not really missing iOS that much. But the really only thing that I've kind of noticed is weird is that some like app developers, you know, they know that iPhones are like the dominant race, especially on like social media and stuff like that. That apps are like made, like they make their apps for iOS specifically, and then when it comes to the Android, they kind of neglect them. They don't really go for the material design. They just try to keep like a watered down iOS version for Android, which doesn't help the material look of Android. And if they did that, then that would be wonderful. I know it's not Android's fault in any way, but that's just a little nitpicky thing. But after all of that, I'm having a great time. It's a great experience. I have no lag issues or anything. Gaming's all good and everything has been good so far. So I'll make sure that I come up with another video next Friday going a little bit more in depth about my usage and apps and stuff like that. A little bit of gaming maybe. So if you guys want to see that video and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and smash that thumbs up button if you guys are liking these videos. And I want you guys to leave a comment telling me your favorite Android feature. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.